The views expressed in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. Although explicit language will be used, the opinions of the podcast are not meant to malign any ethnic group, party, institution, or individual. Thank you for watching and enjoy the show.
Bye, y'all. Yeah. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? What are we doing? We're recording. We're shooting the show, right?
We are.
Okay. So, build it while you fly it.
You got that video cue? Well, wait a minute. How we gonna do the? He gonna have to do the video then, right?
What do you mean do the video?
The audio for.
No, we're gonna get there. We good.
Oh, you gonna?
Yeah, we good.
But is the ambient goal gonna?
Well, I'm gonna build it while you fly it at gmail.com. Go ahead and email the show, like, subscribe, and share. We got a couple of episodes that have been released onto YouTube, and I want to thank everybody for the participation, y'all. I really do appreciate it. We all do. Nate, how you doing, man?
I'm well, sir. How about you, man?
Holding up.
Okay.
I ain't complaining about too much of nothing at all.
Me either, bro.
Dom, how you holding up, man?
I guess I'm good. It's kind of weird. My manager today, who I've known for a year, actually called me John B today.
That's funny. From
And
the podcast?
I never even told him about.
Oh, wow.
Seriously? So it was just random?
Yeah, he was just talking to other coworker or whatever. He's like, he looks like John B.
That's funny.
So if we post some pictures on our Instagram page, which, by the way, follow us on Instagram at BWYF.podcast.
Yes, indeed.
And also find us on Facebook now. We got a Facebook page, and we won't become anything without you. We need your participation. So by all means, head over to the Facebook page, join it, comment on stuff. It'll be links to everything, all of that fun stuff. You're in the ground floor of this whole process, y'all. So we appreciate everybody doing everything they've been doing. Keep it up. Really do appreciate it. So there was an Instagram post by I think the Shade Room posted it, if I'm not mistaken. But are you a fan of Charlamagne the God? Charlamagne the God. I said the guy.
I mean, I don't really know too much about a fan, but I think he does pretty well with interviews.
You think he does all right?
I think he does all right.
All right. Well, there was a post that I'm going to play it and just let the audio happen.
Yes, indeed.
The suicide rate amongst men.
Turn it up a little bit.
3 to 4 times as likely to die by suicide than our women. 9 out of 10 people who live to be over 100 are women. Over 70% of homicides are by men in the United States. So long we tell each other, we give each other pounds. Stay strong, brother. Subconsciously, that's telling us when we're weak, we're not a man. You can't stay strong. I can just put the bar, a 45-pound Olympic, tell you to hold an Olympic bar out on the bench press. Say, I want you to hold that till tomorrow. You won't. We have to be careful of the misleading mantras that we say. What doesn't kill you can only make you stronger. That's not true. Or everything in moderation. No, less than an ounce of cyanide will kill you. So we have to be careful how we program ourselves. So when a man is tired, a strong man is tired. When I say believe him, what I mean is...
You once said when a man says he's tired, pay attention.
So that's basically the post and what they was getting at. And it was extremely interesting to me what the music had. We're going to bring that back.
It was deep, man.
We're going to bring the music back. You can bring the volume down just a little bit down. Appreciate you, man. But and the part that stuck with me, man, was when he said working beyond exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be physically tired, it's a whole nother thing to be mentally tired. That ain't some shit you could just sleep off.
For sure.
It ain't. That ain't some shit you could just sleep off. And just overall awareness was realistically what I just wanted to touch base with you, because
yeah, man,
I know a lot of men.
Okay.
And I know some good dudes. I do. I know some really good dudes, like morally, ethics, doing right by their family, all of that type of shit.
Okay.
But I probably know more dudes that are trash. Financially, I know a lot of trash emotional dudes.
How would you define it, though?
Well, life happens, okay? Right. And like my man was leading to, is what you can expect is to just be okay all the time.
Right.
That's unrealistic expectations for yourself.
Right.
And a lot of times when you have some emotional shit that happens to you, men, particularly black men, were never taught how to deal with emotional trauma.
Right.
If it hurt, we traditionally are raised to be like, don't cry, don't say it hurt, sit over there and be cool, and so on and so forth. Like, that's a pain, and we have no idea how to be like, yo, this shit hurts, I need some time.
Right.
And then emotionally, it's like a lot of dudes I know just be like, I don't want to cry in front of nobody. I know some dudes who just be like, I can't.
Right.
I can't show any of my emotions or anything of that nature. And it's like,
absolutely,
you allowed to say like, yo, my heart is broken.
Right.
You allowed to say, no, man, I'm exhausted. You allowed to be tired. But it's almost as if, and it's fucked up because I almost think it's a society thing where as a black man in today's society, there's no place for you to be mentally, emotionally, financially, or physically exhausted.
Man.
It's not.
I tell a lot of people, man, go to therapy, man.
Bruh.
I definitely believe in that some good can come out of it. A couple jobs back on my resume, I used to be a dual diagnosis clinician where I work with mental health and or alcohol and drug addiction.
Okay.
And one of the main things I saw was that one of the main causes for a lot of people's stress and anxiety was phoniness. Pretending like everything
ain't
is
nothing
okay
wrong
when it's really not okay.
Yeah, man.
And then when they attempt a suicide or something like that, then people will be like around them, they're like, I didn't see any signs, I didn't know, it's because they were hiding it so well, and they really shouldn't have had to hide it. But a lot of it is environmental, because one of the main things that I would look at as a clinician was, what's your natural environment? By natural environment, I mean your family and friends. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Daily or weekly? Who's in your ear and in your mind and impacting and planting seeds in you and things like that? Because that environment plays a big part in someone's emotional, mental health, physical health.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. I've learned over the years, you an average of the 5 people you keep around you.
Yeah, man.
Period. I don't care who you are or where you at. This is why LeBron James want to be, friends with the Buffetts and things of that nature. Right. Is because you're an average of the 5. It's just that simple. And if you look at the 5 people around you and they all toxic in any shape, form, or fashion, there's a very good possibility that you have a lot of those traits and characteristics too. Yeah. And you will define it as a whole bunch of things. Like, even like you just said, therapy. It's like, what? Man, you want me to pay money to go tell somebody else all my problems? Okay. And then you go to therapy and you be like, man, they ain't even do shit. I just sat there talking the whole time. Therapy is designed to get you in to change your mind state, so you can start to ask why are these things happening, to put you in a position where you can start to analyze yourself and make decisions based off previous decisions that you've made or experiences that you went through.
And you're fixing yourself in these sessions. Like, man, I didn't give anybody advice. I literally just listened.
Yeah. And
I would repeat back to them what they were saying to make sure I had a clear understanding of what they were saying.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was called mirroring. But basically, you kind of give someone an opportunity to kind of hear the concepts and the conversations that are going on in their mind, outside of their mind. And when you hear it, sometimes it allows you to put it in a perspective, because when it's just in your head, it's a different conversation. It's a different vibe, And when you have someone who's a good listener or what have you, then it helps to kind of put things in perspective. You're like, man, I never realized I was thinking about that like that. You know? So yeah, it's like an opportunity to think about what you're thinking about.
What am I thinking about?
No, I'm saying it's an opportunity to think about what you're thinking about.
Yeah. I thought you asked me what am I thinking about. No. My head is all over the place with this whole topic, man. This shit.
That was a deep video, man.
No, it was. I was having a conversation with a coworker basically the same way, and he was like, yo, what would you put her on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm like, I don't know, she cute. I don't really know her personality. That got a lot to do with it, but put her at about a 7 from where I'm standing at. She could have a bomb ass personality, she could be a 9. He was like, yeah, if I look at you and you ain't an 8 and up, I don't even date you. I'm like, 8 and up? I'm like, I'm sorry, brother. If you had to grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put you? I'm like, you're emotionally trash. You're broke. You have no money. Talking about I want an 8 and up. I'm like, bro, you're about a 4.5, 5 right now, at best. My coworkers listen to this. They're gonna remember this conversation and be like, but no, listen. Personal responsibility play a large role into a lot of these things, but like I said, it's even more like the mental aspect of it. We could probably spend an entire show just doing that. Physically, what are you doing to yourself? Are you working out? When's the last time you had a gallon of water in a day? A half a gallon of water in a day? Speaking
of men, man, like we talked on Off Wax about that little age range between 18 and 30.
We did have this conversation Off Wax.
A lot of brothers who got this hue of skin don't even make it through that window.
Don't even make it. Not without jail time or
something.
Some sort of tragic event, some sort of life-altering thing that'll happen.
But a lot of males don't realize. See, we always talk to about friends. Watch out who you make friends. But we're never really coached up on how to pick a good woman. And the type of women you pick, fellas, will oftentimes determine the direction of your life.
Period.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up...
Personal responsibility.
Yeah, man.
Personal responsibility. If you met her at the club on ladies' night, what was she doing there? If she was there because it was free before 11, and she been about that life ever since you've been knowing her, then that is what it is. If you met her at you can meet women wherever the hell you want to meet them at, but personal responsibility be playing a role into a lot.
It really does, though.
Into a lot of this shit. And then, the other one, financially.
Yeah, man.
Do you own anything?
Right.
Are you in the process of owning anything? If you continue with the payments, will this be yours?
Right.
Where are you at with that?
Exactly.
Where are you at with that?
All of that, man.
It'd be I know, like I said, I know some good dudes, and I try to keep them dudes in my circle because, again, I truly believe you an average of the 5.
Right.
But that age bracket that you speaking of, that age bracket in black men lacks awareness. It lacks knowledge.
Yeah.
It does. I know some people. I know a guy.
A lot of them are afraid, man.
A lot of integrity.
It's a lot of fear.
He has no idea how to do what he's doing.
It's a lot of fear, man, and it seems like there's more concern about what the homies think.
That part.
Than what's best for me in my life, in my decision-making process.
And if that's a priority for you, then that's fine. I don't want to see. But what do your homies have?
Right. What direction?
Again, what is approval from them gonna do for you?
No, man.
That part, you meet a lot of people and they all tell you he was the cool. 50 said it.
Right.
Damn, bruh. In high school, you was the man, bruh.
Yeah.
But when you're the man in high school, the only thing that you truly have is the approval of your peers, who are traditionally a bunch of late teenage confused people who are about to be adults and have no idea how. There's a couple of folks in high school that have figured this shit out, but for the most part, high school kids are pretty much standard across the board.
You know what, man? I think a lot of times we don't appreciate the disruptors in our lives. What I mean by that
I was about to say, what do you mean by that?
So sometimes you don't know that you need help because you're in this pattern.
Yeah.
and it's just the norm. And that's, to me, that's a dangerous word too. It's the norm, and everybody else is doing it, or everybody else is on board. And then you have those people who come and challenge your norm.
Yeah.
And then what we tend to do, if we're not in a good space, we'll push those people away and get rid of those people who challenge our norms, because we're not able to really be grateful that somebody will come along and do that.
And ask you why.
Yeah, like we more so look at it like, well, you inconveniencing me.
Yeah.
Instead of,
I worked really hard to get here, and you telling me that I still ain't shit.
Yeah. You challenging what I think is, you know what I mean, status quo.
Yeah.
And so I've learned to appreciate those people who challenge me, man. Because for a long time, I was hurting my health.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know I was hurt.
Listen, how many times you gonna go to dude for advice and then not do what the fuck he tell you?
Dude.
Before he just stopped giving you advice.
I'm speaking from experience when I talk about that 18 to 30, man. I didn't know that running from problems that running from problems would create problems for people I love.
Yes.
I didn't know that. I was of the mindset that my problems are just my problems.
No.
And only mine. But people, when you run from problems, you create problems for the people you say you love.
That part.
Because they now get swallowed up in your stuff.
Yep. And they got to make choices between determining if they need to help you or if they need to leave you to your own devices.
Because if they try to help you, you want to fight them.
Yep. We got a mutual friend.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
We got a mutual friend, and I ain't going to elaborate. I'm going to leave it on. I'm actually disappointed I brought that up on wax. Yep. But we got a mutual friend. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, here's what it boils down to, y'all. You have to be aware of where you're at mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially.
For sure.
Traditionally, I would add spiritually, but I don't want to get canceled. So I'm just going to leave that entire aspect completely out of this entire equation. Please add it to your own personal aspect. But
if you
want to elaborate,
find a mentor if you can.
Please.
If you can. Find a mentor.
Yes. And listen to them. Because listen, I got some friends that I trust and know, and they know me, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And they be getting me hip to shit that I don't know exist because I'm so domesticated. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been in my situation for almost 2 decades now. So a lot of things have changed over that time period. Sure. And I'm like, for instance, a hobosexual.
What's that?
Apparently it's a homeless man that jumps house to house just to have sex with women.
Man, I thought it had something to do with hopping off of trains and hopping
Nope.
on trains. Okay.
Hobosexuals.
Okay.
This is an actual term that's being used in today's society.
Okay.
I'm like, wait, so what? And they just let them move in?
Is that what that song Papa Was a Rolling Stone was about?
Essentially.
Okay.
I mean, Blue said Papa had, 2 outside kids and another wife. And that ain't right. Said Papa was doing some storefront preaching. Talking about saving souls. Anyway, I love that song. But that's neither here nor there.
Wherever you lay this hat was.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, and I'm listening to this shit and I'm like, damn. And then I started paying a little bit closer attention to my coworkers in this regard when we had free time, when we stop and have a conversation, that type of shit.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, some of y'all is really trash. They really are. In the end, it's fucked up because they be looking at chicks like, man, I was in a relationship with this girl, this, that, and the third, and shit didn't work out. She was tripping. And I'm like, well, what was she tripping on? And then they get to elaborating on what she was tripping on. And I'm like, no, she was right, bruh. But again, then I started to get pushed away.
That's where the push.
That's when I started to get pushed away. They start looking at me like, man, you don't even know what you're talking about. You ain't dated in years. I'm like,
dang,
bro, I probably forgot more about women than you're ever gonna know.
It's like that. Like,
but it's hard to say that shit and stay humble. Like, I don't know how to say that. I can't look at a 19, 20-year-old who talking reckless and then not and stay humble when I be like, yo, man, you half-ass retarded.
But you know what? It take a lot of grace and empathy because I was 18 and 19, and I thought I knew things that I didn't even know. and nobody could tell me nothing.
You
man.
couldn't tell me otherwise.
Couldn't tell me nothing, man. I didn't trust nobody.
Yeah.
I was learning new information that I didn't quite know before.
It's a very difficult time to go through because during that time period, you got to learn how to be a man.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to be a spouse, a boyfriend, or a husband, or a fiance, or whatever it is you want to do. And there's a whole lot of aspects of that you have to learn how to do that, how to coexist with somebody,
Right.
how to be in a relationship with somebody. Like, that ain't some shit most people just know.
I got a question I want to ask y'all, man. Like, and this is something that just popped in my mind as we were talking. And when you're talking about the guy who goes from home to home and the different experiences that guys are having,
Hobosexual.
There you go. First of all, just focus on being a good, decent human being, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is a young man to do in that 18 to 30 age range, even younger?
Okay.
When he starts to notice the saying, when he hears for the first time, nice guys finish last, and he takes that into whatever kind of context, right? And he thinks, I gotta be an a-hole for women to like me.
I've been wanting to add something to that saying. No, but it's true. That is a saying that you do learn. Like, bruh, stop being nice. You will be last every single time.
And you got dudes in the barbershop. You got people everywhere telling you, man, stop being nice. Stop being...
Listen, that shit applies, but it only applies in certain situations.
Okay.
Perfect example. When I was 23 years old, I needed a job. I needed another job.
Right.
And I applied to about 2 or 3 different jobs in about a 2-week span. I get a phone call back from one of them. I go through the interview. Everything works out great.
Right.
They offer me the position. I take it. A week later, a job that pays me $2 more calls me and says, we want to call you in for an interview. Me being nice says, I'm not going to take this job. I'm sorry, I've already found employment, but thank you for the opportunity, because I didn't want the job that I worked for to go through everything that they went through only to lose another employee.
Okay.
That's when nice guys finish last applies. I have no allegiance to this place. What I should have done, whether it was nice or not, was make my family the priority and take the job that pays more. Yes, it would have been an inconvenience to them, but this is why they're a major business and a corporation. Yes,
sure.
It's not the nicest thing to do.
For sure.
But if I tell them I appreciate the opportunity, but I have another opportunity.
Right.
Most jobs would be like, shit, what they offering you? We really need you here.
Yeah.
As a manager now who's done these type of things, I could be like, listen, I could give you $1, $2 to be like, yo, just stay here.
Right.
Or I could, or, you know, be like, listen, I can't match that. Then go on. Like, there's a professional way to handle that, but you don't have to be nice about it.
For sure.
You could be direct, and you could be like, listen, I need this money. I'm going to take this opportunity because it's a better situation for me and my family. If you can match it, I'll stay. If you can't, then you have to understand that I have responsibilities.
Right. See, you
It's
made me
not
think too,
about being nice in that situation.
You made me think too. There's a differentiation between being nice and being goofy.
Being goofy.
Don't be a goofy.
I was goofy as shit because I didn't want. But here's the thing: there's a difference between being nice and being mean.
Okay.
Just because you're not being nice doesn't mean you're being mean.
True.
It doesn't. That don't listen. You don't have to be disrespectful to get your point across. You can be direct.
Absolutely.
And ask for what it is that you want out of a situation, whether it's a job or a female or whatever that is.
Right.
You can do all of that shit without being mean to the job or to the other person.
Absolutely.
Regardless as to what that is.
Right.
But traditionally, when you're nice about it, you will finish last. Don't be nice about it. State your piece.
Right.
Say what you need. Be direct in everything that you ask for.
Don't be passive.
Don't be passive.
Right.
That's what I think. That's what that means when they say nice guys finish last.
Don't
like
be phony.
None of that.
Right.
None of that.
You be stressed out later.
And again, it's okay for you to have demands.
Right.
It's okay for you to have expectations.
Or be assertive. Right.
It is.
Right.
And but you have to put those expectations out there and then back them with some sort of something.
Absolutely.
You can't have an irresponsible man look you in the face and be like, yo, I need you to do this, this, and this. Like, motherfucker, you don't do shit. And then you wonder why she always tripping. Because her bills is short.
Yeah.
Because the rent ain't paid. Because she's still living in this apartment.
Yeah.
Trying to make these ends meet. And then here you come talking about how you want shit right. Motherfucker, if the situation was better, you wouldn't have to ask for a lot of the shit you asking for.
Right.
And that's what men during that time period are still learning. When you bring something to the table, when you have established yourself, you don't have to ask for the things that you want to ask for. You can look at the people around you and demand it.
Yeah.
You go to work and be like, listen, I need a raise.
Yeah.
We need to schedule a meeting next Tuesday so we can sit down and have this conversation because what my value is not meeting my pay rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you worth it, you'll sit down and have that conversation. When you sit down with a woman and be like, listen,
when you realize you're doing two jobs,
period.
you only
when you
get
sit
paid
down
for
with
one.
a woman and be like, listen, there's some things that you're doing that I don't necessarily agree with, and here's why.
Yeah.
It's because I need you to be my peace when I come home, and I don't want to have to deal with this, this, and this. And regardless as to what those is, if you really worth it, then she gonna sit down and have that conversation with you. But if every time you put out some sort of, if you interject with any sort of demands or God forbid consequences or any of that shit in a relationship, and then she look at you like, fuck you. Maybe you should make, what are you bringing to the table to be able to put yourself in a situation where you feel like you can demand anything?
And see, those are the intangibles
that you learn when you have awareness.
Where do we get awareness from, though?
Ooh. And this is the part of the conversation that I've been, no, because I knew we was going to get here, but this is the one part I've been dreading, is because you can get awareness from a bunch of different places. The problem is that you have to question the source.
Absolutely. Challenge everything.
Who's telling you to be aware and why?
Right.
I had a friend of mine tell me, because we go back and forth on relationships a lot. It's another married couple that I'm friends with, and they was like, we was having a conversation and it didn't seem like it was you. And I'm like, what do you mean? It was like the advice that you gave didn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't translate from what I said to the situation that they were going through. And I was like, huh? And I was like, when did we have this conversation? And they explained, I was like, I remember that conversation now. And I vividly remember maybe the day, 2 days before that, there was an argument. And the conversation I had with them came from an emotional place of hurt.
Okay.
And when I gave them advice, I gave them advice from that place. But that's the problem, is that when you get advice, you have to find out where you're getting it from.
Yeah.
Somebody who's fresh out of a relationship where they gave it they all and it didn't work out, traditionally is going to give you some advice to make sure you don't feel the same way they do.
Yeah.
But their circumstances are different from yours.
Yeah.
Their lifestyle doesn't necessarily have to dictate your lifestyle.
Right. Yeah, I think I heard one time it said people are either coming from, going through, or headed to. And so that's the places that they make decisions from.
Yeah.
That's the places that they love from, that they hate from, that they, and asking questions is what leads you to the understanding. But when assumptions get made because the communication isn't the best, it can lead to a hard type of relationship. So it's like learning how to communicate too. And I think that is part of the answer as far as increasing awareness, because most abusive relationships, the foundation of it is a communication
lack
problem.
of communication.
And so if I don't have that awareness, then I'm gonna get to my vocabulary is gonna cap off at a certain point. Now it's time for these.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what else to say to you. I don't know how else to say it to get my point across. And there's a mean joke out. What do you say to somebody with two black eyes?
Nothing. Somebody already said it twice. was
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing
Somebody
else.
told him
But
twice.
again, when you
Wow.
grow, I mean, we both grew up, for lack of a better term, down the way, and it's been a whole lot of situations that I remember growing up, where it was like, bruh, the words is over with. When I see you, we gonna have a misunderstanding. What is we still talking about?
Man.
Where it's like, nah. Like the levels of communication growing up in the hood get shut down immediately.
Yeah.
Like you could say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing, and at that point, it's time for me to slap you right across your face because nothing else will be everything else that you do post once their actions have been everything else. You weak.
Yeah.
You small. You insignificant. You allowed this person to disrespect you in some shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
And I'm like, I've seen some shit happen where it was clearly a misunderstanding. Like, I bumped a guy once. And where the hell was we at? We was in a club on Emory. I forgot what it was called. I was walking past and he wasn't there. He shifted. I bumped into him.
Yeah.
I turned around and be like, yo, my bad, bro. And he was like, watch where the fuck you going. I'm like, man, who the fuck is you talking to? And at that point, words were damn near done.
Yeah.
Like, if people hadn't stepped in when they stepped in, it's like, I can't allow this man to disrespect me in any shape, form, or fashion. But the levels of disrespect get determined on a whole bunch of different ways.
Coming from a certain place.
I've
been in barbershops, bro, and I've seen people who went to college and people hadn't seen them in years because it was away at school.
Yeah.
And they come in the barbershop, hadn't seen their own barber in like 4 years, you know, because they was in school out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, I done seen cats come home from prison, come in the barbershop. And it's like, oh man, it's big respect. And I was like, wow, you get more respect for going to the slammer
than you do for going to college.
Going to college? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it comes from a place.
Yeah.
It comes from a place. And I don't judge the place. I'm just aware of it. You know?
Yeah.
And that is why it's important. Like we talked about All Blacks. We mentioned it briefly about being able to agree to disagree, because we don't all come from the same place. We're not all going through the same place, and we're not all going to the same place. So it's okay to agree to disagree with someone, because communication will cap at some point.
Yeah, and you're gonna come to those. But yeah, and that's true. Just because you and somebody else is from the same place don't mean y'all both headed to the same place, and it don't mean that y'all both going through the same place right now. So when you look at somebody that's from where you from, it's okay if their mind state and their mentality ain't the same as yours.
It's okay. It really is.
It's all right.
It really is. And if it's something that's you know, in alignment at some point, and you guys get on the same or similar frequency, then there'll be a rejoining of like minds at some point. But you got to give people their space to go through their transformation, and you can't control somebody else's transformation. And like, that's what the young bucks, you know, the young guys, man, it's like they really need us to hey man,
listen,
it get greater later.
I caught flack being from where I'm from for a lot of the things that I had control and had no control over.
Yeah.
I remember the first time a friend of mine came over to the house and I had a Pink Floyd CD. I'm in like 7th, maybe 8th grade. I know I was still in middle school.
Yeah.
He was like, what did you listening to? I'm like, music. I mean, you can Google it. Top 10 albums sold of all time, ever.
Right.
I ain't the only one rocking it.
Yeah.
I was like, music, it's Pink Floyd. It was like, where's the rap? I'm like, it's other music besides rap.
Yeah.
And then we leave. We out with everybody else now. Mm-hmm. And he like, man, BWYF be listening to some bullshit. And I'm like, wow. Y'all really, this is what it is. And then like, that was the shit that I could control. The shit that I couldn't control, I'm in school acting a whole asshole. Mm-hmm. And my father was notorious for coming up to the school. And
it's a good daddy right there.
Yeah, he was on it. He was on it. My father was a school bus driver for 28 years.
Okay.
So he would drop the kids off on days he didn't have field trips. If he wasn't busy, let me swing up by the school and go check on this moment, because I know he's simple as fuck. He gonna do some stupid shit. Probably ain't did no homework, that type of shit. Like Pops was keeping tabs on me on a regular basis.
Hey, he know where you come from.
Yeah, he knew where I come from. He knew what I was capable of because he knew what he was capable of. So, with that being said, I'm in school acting a whole asshole. And we in the hallway, and somebody was like, "Man, you better chill out. Your daddy gonna come up here and beat your ass." And I eventually it got to a point where I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Where your daddy at? And now you want to go to fisticuffs.
Yeah, buddy.
Now that cap on communication has been hit now.
Yeah, buddy.
Now you said some disrespectful shit, so now I said some disrespectful shit, and here we are.
I'll never forget the time. We talking about grown men. I was asked, sitting in a room full of men, I was asked, "Hey man, for $1 million, would you do some non-heterosexual activity?"
Okay.
And this was a question posed to the entire room.
Yeah.
My response was, "If you do it for money, you'll do it for free." Do you know that this individual proceeded to slash my tire?
You're a lie.
I just said to the room, "Hey,
Jesus.
if you'll do it for money, you'll do it for free." I didn't single anybody out. But what happens when you're talking to a group of people
and they hit that cap?
And there's a cap.
This is all they know. So listen, men, and I'm talking to men. I'm not talking to just black men. I'm not talking to any sort of demographic as far as that goes, with the exception of age bracket. If you are between the ages of 18 and 30, are the people around you productive in their own lives?
Man.
God forbid being a productive friend. Are they pushing you to do anything? Do they support all of your habits? Good or bad? I got people who I know indirectly. I mean, I got people I'm related to who, when I call them over to go drinking, I got some shit on the grill. I got a couple of bottles come through. We're going to play some music. We're going to chill this, that, and the third. They be here, Johnny on the spot.
Right.
I call them over here to be like, yo, I'm about to start doing yoga. Come support.
Need some painting done.
What? Hell, this podcast is another prime example.
Man.
I got folks who quote unquote love me unconditionally and support everything that I do. Won't hit the like, subscribe, or share button.
You going deep now. You gonna trigger some people, man.
Awareness, bro.
Awareness, man. Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm not hurting anybody.
Right.
I'm not asking you to do anything, but I am asking for what a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't learn this till way after 30, is time. I'm asking people for their time. Okay. Now, in my world, my time is more precious than my money.
Absolutely.
I'll throw money at a lot of situations to save me time.
Absolutely.
I can always go get some more money.
Absolutely.
I cannot go get any more time. So when I want to utilize it, I want to utilize it as properly as I can.
Absolutely.
So when I'm asking for people time, one, I want to make sure we're doing this shit the right way and so on and so forth. And then when I ask you for your time, and you've already expressed to me that you will give me your time, and then you don't, I have the awareness now to recognize what that is.
Right.
And I'm not going to change my story. I'm not. What I'm going to do is from this moment forward, I'm going to handle the situation accordingly.
Right.
Because I don't want to do is put myself in a position where I'm surrounded by people that say they will support and then don't.
Exactly. But you got to be honest with yourself.
You do.
You do.
You got to be honest with yourself. I got an uncle, God rest his soul. One of the greatest things he ever told me was don't go to a hardware store shopping for bread. It ain't there. Man. And every time you walk in that hardware store looking for bread, you will walk out disappointed.
Man, do you know what?
Every single time, bruh. And a lot of times financially, you go in a hardware store looking for bread. You think that you're going to do this, and this, and it's going to lead to millions. When that path don't lead to hundreds,
bro,
you'll never make it to thousands. Millions is not even down this road.
This week, I literally had that epiphany that I had to forgive myself for unrealistic expectations of others. Asking people for what they don't have the capacity
to do
for. And it's not it's not a right or wrong thing.
It's not.
It's literally me not having the awareness to recognize
that they're not capable of what I need them to be capable of.
And I'm going to destroy this relationship because I'm asking them for something that they are not.
It's too much.
Instead of going and continuing my search and finding the person or people who actually do that.
Yeah.
I'm up here with a hammer, like, why you don't screw nothing in?
Yeah.
It's a hammer.
That's exactly where. And listen, I was there for a lot of times.
So ridiculous, bro.
For a lot of times, and a lot of people, and a lot of relationships that I had. And I'm not just like people that I knew that I had some type of bruh.
I had to check myself, man.
Man, listen.
I had to check myself.
Awareness,
man.
Fellas, if the woman that you trying to be with is trying to get married, do you possess the ability to get married?
All right.
And it work? Because if you don't, then this ain't the woman for you. Yes, she's awesome. She not you right now. She might be later.
Yeah.
But you really got to get your own shit together before this is a whole possibility.
And don't play with it. You
can't be a homosexual and then get mad when she asks you to do some shit. Like, I don't know, pay bills.
And don't play with her.
Stop.
Because if it was your sister.
If it was your auntie.
Your daughter.
If it was your cousin.
Your mama.
If it was one of your peoples.
You be ready to do this.
You done reached the cap immediately.
Where you at?
Immediately.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even heard your side of the story, but if she come here with me to tell me that this dude been living here for 3 weeks, 2 months, I've been with him for a year, and he's still on the couch.
Bro.
I leave, this nigga playing Xbox. I come back, this nigga still sitting there playing Xbox. And again, personal responsibility plays a bit of a role in this, but
absolutely,
you got to be a better man.
I used to go to the prisons, man, and like we would bring resources and talk to them and stuff like that. You know how many cats I met that were in there because they ended up seriously injuring and or killing someone over trying to fight for a female in their family.
Jesus.
Man.
Jesus.
Whole life
ruined.
Changed.
Ruined.
Because you trying to fight for your sister, your cousin, and
ruined.
And
ruined.
Whole life changed,
Life's
bro.
just be ruined over this type of shit, man. For real. Is like you said, that's you running away from your problems, and now you done infected everybody around you. Everybody around you. You gotta have that kind of awareness. Listen, fellas, the ladies gonna always be there.
Yes,
they're gonna be in different qualities and different statures and different standards. They're gonna always be there.
Yes,
but when you start to become the man that you want to be,
yeah,
the woman that you're gonna want will be there too.
Yes, indeed.
I promise you.
Yes, indeed.
I promise you. That's how that always is gonna work.
Yep.
Mentally.
She'll drop that scarf and let you know.
She will. Mentally, take care of yourself. Take some time.
Yeah.
Process thoughts. Process emotions.
That's it.
Be heartbroken. It's not a bad thing to be.
It's all right.
It's okay. It's okay
process.
for you to be exhausted.
It's a process.
Like my man said in the video. If I ask you to hold this 45-pound dumbbell till tomorrow, your arm is going to damn near fall off.
Yeah.
Work till you're exhausted. When you're exhausted, take a break. Rest. Please, by all means.
Rest.
Try yoga. There's a reason people do it.
Meditate.
Something. I just had a conversation with myself, which sounds a little crazy, but it wasn't like I went back and forth. I'm like, I should get my son into like stretching in the morning and doing some type of yoga before school. Just get your head right. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a household where my mama was one of them. If I'm going to work, you're going to school. I don't give a fuck what you're going through. And there were a couple of situations where I did stay at home, but for the most part, my mornings were trash as a kid.
Right.
They were trash. My mother was traditionally late for a bunch of stuff and so on and so forth. So we found ourselves getting yelled at, getting rushed, getting, do this, get your ass in the car, get to school. Yeah. So when I get to school, I get out the car and just kind of exhale like, all right, now I'm here.
Yeah.
Now let's start the day with that. Like, I feel like I should try to fill the mornings with some better activities, like yoga or just breakfast, or maybe we go for a walk around the block while the weather's still good. Like, just do something that's not mentally exhausting before he got to go do that, where there's, you know, girls and school and homework and sports and everything else that the kid is into.
Your presence, man.
Just trying to make him aware of his surroundings now.
Right.
Jesus.
I got 2 youngins, man, 7 and 3. So I've been focusing on teaching them how to pray, man. Because that's something that they can tap into when I'm not even around.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just laying the foundation. As long as they see me doing it, and I pray with them, and they just So
my phone just went off, y'all. My bad.
It's a beautiful thing.
We building it, we flying it at the same time.
Absolutely.
And what we do? We did mentally. We
kind of covered everything.
We did. Oh, there's 2 other ones that I wanted to end the show with. Is physically. Y'all, and listen, I ain't the slimmest cat you ever met in your life by no means, but I am aware of what's wrong with my body and the things that I need to be doing. Now, breaking lifelong habits is a whole nother issue for me. And I have my qualms, but I ask you to be aware. Know what's wrong.
For sure.
Understand what it is you're putting in, and make sure you have realistic expectations for what you want to get out of your body.
Go to the doctor.
Black man.
This
one I haven't been, but this time black man, please go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Please
find one that work for you.
Find one that work for you, and please go to the doctor.
Ain't for you, but just find one.
Jesus Lord, please go to the doctor.
Might go through 100 of them, but just, you know.
And I don't even like doctors or lawyers.
I don't like doctors, needles. I don't like none of that stuff.
They're the only fuckers that get to practice. $180 an hour. You assholes is practicing.
But I need something to go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to start somewhere. And then I could do my own research to find out if this man is telling me the truth.
Yeah.
I could, or whoever, the doctor is telling you the truth. I can do all of that stuff. But
right.
Be aware of like I said, be aware of what you putting into your body, and be aware of your expectations as to what you want out of your body.
Yeah.
Period.
Take a look at what's coming out your body too.
Yeah. And then the last one, financially.
For sure.
The path that you're on, does it lead to where you want to be?
Pay yourself.
Period. Does it lead to where you want to be? You can go and listen to all kinds of shit. You can listen to Steve Harvey. You can listen to 50 Cent. You can listen to Shaq. And everybody has another angle that they're going to give you, or another take on what wealth is to them, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Some people will tell you health is wealth. Wealth has absolutely nothing to do with money. It really all depends on your own personal status, as far as how healthy are you mentally and emotionally and physically and things of that nature. But finances matter. All right, they do. And learn as much as you can about money ASAP. And don't think you know it all, because I promise you don't.
No.
Man, you do not.
Just having it is not
Rich
enough.
people don't. Rich people use their money to make money.
Right.
Okay? That's a fact.
Ever notice how the real wealthy people, you never see them in the picture with their money?
Yeah.
You might see them standing there with their money paid for.
Yeah. But you ain't never seen really rich people take a picture with
a stack of money.
With a stack of money like a cell phone. They ain't had that much cash on them in decades.
The longer you hold on to the money, it depreciates over time. You need capital. And I'm just now learning this stuff too, so
I just figured this out.
Capital.
Like in the last 2 or 3 years, I just realized
ownership,
how this shit works.
Yeah, man.
Because I had no idea. The only thing I knew how to do with money was spend it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to save it. Yeah. I didn't know how to invest it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to manage it. I just knew how to spend it.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And I didn't know how to buy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to use lines of credit to buy things that I absolutely have to establish my credit even more.
Man.
I wasn't even good at buying shit back then, bruh. I done been through it. And I ain't the only one going through it. I'm just the only one on the mic right now. It's about a lot of people listening to this and be like, if you just spend it, you need to learn how to do
some goofy moves with my credit cards.
What?
And between that age of 18 and 30, I was goofy with the credit
cards. Bruh, goofy to the point where I think I had a 510 by the time I was like 28, 29. And I'm married with kids, and I'm like, babe, But she's like, yeah, we gotta, like, yeah. And it took about 4 or 5 years, but, you know, I'm sitting on something a little bit better than that. But, bruh, the decisions, man, listen. So, if you have any questions that you would like for us to navigate you through, gentlemen,
indeed,
in particular, we're talking to you this episode. We would love to hear from you. If you got some relationship, if you want some relationship advice from us, please email the show. We can send you in the directions on some financial advice, so on and so forth. We would love to sit here and read the email.
Yes, indeed.
And let you know what we thinking. So again, builditwhileyouFly@gmail.com. Follow us on IG at BWYF.podcast. And Facebook. Facebook is a thing now.
Yes, sir.
Find us on Facebook, Build It While You Fly It. And so on and so forth.
And
there'll
remember,
be links
y'all,
and pictures and all of that fun stuff.
Remember, y'all, we just here to start the discussion. It's up to y'all to continue it.
Every day you wake up, God gave you a choice and a chance. Do something with both of them.
Indeed.
We'll holler.
Peace.